What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you don't already know me, my name is Ayman and I run the page The Frag Stop here on YouTube as well as on TikTok and on Instagram. Today I have a bit of a weird video. I'm currently on vacation, so I don't have access to my fragrance collection, hence the new setup. So I thought this would be a perfect time for me to go out and buy a bunch of dupe fragrances and a bunch of really hyped up fragrances and quickly talk about them. We have a couple fragrances to get through today, but really quickly I'm just going to list them out for you guys. I got Lattafa's Liam Grey. This is supposed to be a dupe of Gris Charnel by BDK. I have a bottle of Vintage Radio. I got a bottle of Afnan's Rare Reef. I have a bottle of Afnan's Turathi Electric. This one's been really hyped and I'm really excited to try it out. I bought a new second bottle of Lattafa Khamrah Qahwa, a fragrance that I absolutely love. And finally, we have a fragrance, Aether Extrait by French Avenue. This one is supposed to be a clone of Parfums de Marly's Greenly, another one that I'm really excited to try out. So let's not waste too much time and get straight into it with the first fragrance. Really quickly, I apologize if the camera is a little bit shaky or the lighting is a bit off. I'm making do with what I got here. But anyways, let's get started with the first fragrance, which is Afnan's Turathi Electric. There's been a lot of hype on this fragrance on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram. Everyone's talking about this one. It's supposed to be a dupe of Ex Nihil's Blue Talisman, which is a fragrance that I own. But I'm really excited to try this one out, so let's quickly unbox this thing. So it's a pretty simple presentation, just a box, fragrance is just inside. Here's the fragrance. I gotta say, it is a very beautiful bottle. I don't know if the camera will pick up on it, but it has sort of a rainbow color to it. But let's give this thing a couple sprays and try it out. Okay, so instantly, I definitely get that Blue Talisman vibe. This stuff definitely is inspired or dupes Blue Talisman because as soon as you spray it, that's the first thing you're gonna pick up on. You get that beautiful, juicy pear opening. And you definitely pick up on the sunscreeny, lotion type smell that Blue Talisman has. I will say I think this fragrance opens up a little bit more fruity than Ex Nihil's Blue Talisman. The sunscreen note in here is also a lot less pronounced than it is on Ex Nihil's Blue Talisman. And honestly, I think that's a very good upgrade. Overall, honestly, I'm really surprised how close this gets to the original. I think the only way I'd be able to tell the differences is if I actually had my bottle of Blue Talisman with me and sprayed them side by side. I think that would be the only way for me to pick up on the differences because this stuff gets 90 to 95% close in my opinion. So if you're looking for that Ex Nihilo Blue Talisman DNA and don't want to drop big bucks on that fragrance, then definitely check out Turathi Electric by Afnan. And I already hear you guys in the comments asking me if this fragrance is going to last. I honestly have no idea, but Afnan has been known to make some pretty strong, long-lasting fragrances. I will be making a follow-up video probably on my TikTok or maybe even my YouTube talking about the performance of this fragrance. So definitely subscribe or follow me on TikTok in order to watch those videos and stay tuned. But overall, very impressed with this fragrance. Next, we're going to unbox French Avenue's Aether Extrait. This is supposed to be a dupe of Parfums de Marly's Greenly. Now, I used to own Parfums de Marly's Greenly, but I got rid of it because number one, I didn't like the dry down. It was a little bit too mossy for me. And number two, I thought it was too basic for what it was. I didn't want to spend $200-300 for a green apple fragrance. So this is going to do the job nicely if it is a good clone of Greenly. So let's unbox it and find out. Now, one thing I will say about French Avenue is that their dupes are almost identical and one-to-one. Their clone of Parfums de Marly's Aether called Liquid Brun is a one-to-one copy of that original fragrance. So I hope this one is as close as that fragrance is. But here's the bottle and it's absolutely magnificent. I don't know what it is about these Middle Eastern houses, but they make some of the best bottles in the game. But let's give this one a quick spray on the hand. So I'm going to use my opposite hand over here. And pretty nice atomizer too. So let's let this dry down and give it a quick sniff. Oh, wow. They've really nailed that signature apple opening of Parfums de Marly's Greenly, which is my favorite part of that fragrance. I really hope that this doesn't dry down as mossy as Greenly, but off the opening, this stuff smells absolutely beautiful. It's been a while since I smelled Greenly, but I don't remember it smelling this good. I'm actually really surprised by how this one smells. I hope that the dry down is just as good as the opening of this fragrance. And again, I'll make a video on the performance of each of these fragrances on my TikTok or on my YouTube, so stay tuned for that. But overall, I am loving this one. I really hope it stays as beautiful as it is right now because this stuff, let me tell you, is amazing. I low-key think this is going to be the best one out of all of these fragrances. It's going to be very hard to top this. I could really see myself wearing this stuff a lot this summer. Just beautiful, apple, juicy, green, a little bit mossy. Just, it smells absolutely amazing. French Avenue has done it again. They made another amazing fragrance, and honestly, I'm really happy I'm adding this one to my collection. Next, we have another really hyped up fragrance, and that's Afnan's Rare Reef. There's been a lot of hype on TikTok about this fragrance. It's supposed to be a dupe of Louis Vuitton's Pacific Chill. So let's see how close it gets to the original. So again, pretty basic packaging, just unbox it. Fragrance is just inside. It looks a little bit like a grenade. This bottle is definitely not as impressive as some of the other fragrances we saw today, but here it is. Let's give this a quick spray. I'm running out of skin, so I'm just gonna spray this one on my forearm. And let's try this one out. Okay, so this one dried down a little bit, and I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't really smell very similar to Pacific Chill in my opinion. It definitely has a lot of the same notes. It has that citrusy, fruity, mojito, very minty opening. It really does smell really good, but it doesn't remind me of Pacific Chill. It honestly reminds me more of Xerjoff's Torino 21 than it does of Pacific Chill. Maybe even a mix between the two, because Pacific Chill is a lot more uplifting, a lot more citrusy, a lot more bright, whereas this one is a lot more herbal, which is a bit more similar to Torino 21. And if you've watched my channel for a while, you know that I do not like herbal notes. So for example, Xerjoff's Torino 21, I don't have that fragrance in my collection because it's too herbal in my opinion. Roja's Elysium, I absolutely love the opening, but I hate the herbal aspect of that fragrance. So I don't really think I'm going to keep this one, even though I think it is a very good fragrance for people who enjoy those types of notes. I particularly don't like herbal notes, so I don't know. I don't think I'm going to keep this one. And if you're asking my opinion, I do not think that this is a good dupe of Pacific Chill. Maybe an inspired by Pacific Chill, but I don't think this one is a one-to-one dupe of Pacific Chill. So if you're looking to buy Louis Vuitton's Pacific Chill, I wouldn't recommend this fragrance for you. I would recommend you look for something else instead. But again, I have to stress, a lot of people are going to enjoy this DNA. A lot of people love Xerjoff's Torino 21. So if you're one of those people that enjoys Torino 21 or enjoys these herbal, citrusy, minty fragrances, then this one's going to be perfect for you. This is Rare Reef by Afnan. Alright, so I think we're halfway through now. 3 fragrances unboxed. 2 of them have been absolute W's, and I've been so happy with those 2 fragrances. One has been 50-50, which is the Afnan Rare Reef. I don't think I'm going to be keeping that one. But we're going to move on now to one that I'm very excited for, and that's Lattafa's Liam Grey. So this fragrance is supposed to be a clone of BDK's Gris Charnel, a fragrance that I used to own and I finished and I absolutely love. But I refuse to buy that fragrance again because of the political stance that their CEO has taken. So I'm stuck with a dupe, and I really hope that this one comes close to the original because I absolutely love it. Here's the bottle. It's pretty basic, not as creative as some of the other fragrances we've talked about, but let's give it a quick sniff. Let's give it on this hand, and now I've officially run out of skin, so we need to find a solution for that, but let's give this thing a smell. Oh, thank God. Yes, thank God. This stuff does smell like BDK's Gris Charnel. Oh my God, I've missed this fragrance so much, and I'm glad that this one is very similar. Oh my God, that smells so good. It's spicy, it's figgy, it's tea. It smells like a chai latte in a bottle. It is absolutely delicious and edible smelling. I will say that this one is a little bit more spicy than the original EDP. It's almost like a in between the Extrait and the EDP. It's not as spicy as the Extrait, but it's not as mild or not as relaxed or calm as the EDP. I definitely say it's like in between those 2 fragrances, which I don't mind at all because I love both of these fragrances, and this is like getting the best of both worlds. And the more it's drying down, the more of that vanilla is coming through, which makes it just a lot more edible and a lot more delicious smelling. And overall, wow, I'm so happy that this fragrance actually comes close to the original because I was getting kind of concerned. I finished my bottle of BDK Gris Charnel around a year ago, and I couldn't find a good alternative until someone recommended this fragrance, and that person was right because this stuff is amazing. And I think almost a one-to-one of Gris Charnel, so I definitely recommend you check this one out if you're looking for that sort of DNA. Next, we have another fragrance from Lattafa, and that's Vintage Radio. Now, I've already tried this fragrance, and I remember really liking it, and I did want to buy it back when I tried it, but it was out of stock, so I'm glad I was able to add this fragrance to my collection. But here's the box. Just flip it off, and here's the bottle. Pretty basic bottle, just a white bottle with a radio in the front, but let's give this one a try. So I had to go get some testing strips because I was out of skin, but let's give this a quick spray. Pretty basic atomizer. Oh yeah, baby. I remember why I really like this fragrance, and that's because of that beautiful, juicy plum opening. I can't really pull this stuff away from my nose. I keep sniffing it. It smells so good. I've never tried Initio Paragon as well, so I can't really compare this fragrance to Paragon, but I honestly don't really care. I absolutely love this fragrance the way it is. Even if it is a bad dupe, I don't care. I love this juice. It's a juicy, sexy, spicy plum fragrance. And you definitely pick up on some woods in the background, and I think as it dries down, more of those woods are going to come through. But that plum opening, man, that's gold. That's absolutely magnificent. I could talk about the performance of this fragrance because when I last tried this fragrance out, it stuck onto my skin like glue. I'm talking 9, 10, maybe even 11 hours onto my skin. And because of how long it lasted and how beautiful the smell was, I really wanted to pull the trigger on this fragrance, but it was sold out everywhere, so I had to wait. So I'm really glad that this is now in my collection. And for $30, $40, honestly, you can't go wrong with this. It is an absolute steal. I would honestly pay more for this stuff because it smells absolutely beautiful. Lattafa Vintage Radio, man. Check this one out. Finally, we have another fragrance from Lattafa, and that's Lattafa's Khamrah Qahwa. This is not a dupe. This is not an inspired by. This is their own personal creation, which is just the original Khamrah with some added coffee notes. Like I said in the beginning of this video, this is a repurchase for me because I used to own a bottle of this stuff, absolutely demolished it, finished it, and now I have another bottle that I'm absolutely going to demolish and enjoy. And here's the presentation box, pretty strong box with the fragrance inside. Let's pop this one out. It's a pretty beautiful bottle, I'm not gonna lie. It has like a black gradient and then like the orange juice and the crystal cap. Nice bottle, not the best design, but still pretty unique. I'm not even gonna put this on a tester strip or even on my skin because I know what this stuff smells like. Let's quickly spray it in the air, get an atomizer check, and smell it, and oh, yes. I've missed this thing. It has a lot of similarities to the original Lattafa Khamrah, but like I said, it has a bit of a coffee twist to it, which I think really balances this fragrance out because as much as I love the original Lattafa Khamrah, I do think it's a tad bit too sweet, especially with the date note, with the boozy, with the cinnamon notes. It just gets a little bit too cloying, but with this one, the coffee really balances out the sweetness and makes it a lot more enjoyable and a lot more wearable. I can't get enough of this stuff, and this one also lasts a pretty long time. You're gonna get around 8 to 9 hours with a lot of projection out of this fragrance. And this fragrance is just an example that Middle Eastern houses can do it all. They could dupe fragrances, they could make inspired by, and they could even make their own creations like they did with this fragrance, Lattafa Khamrah Qahwa. Definitely try this one out if you're a fan of coffee in your fragrances because this is one of the best coffee fragrances on the market in my opinion. And so just to summarize this video really quickly, I absolutely loved every single one of these dupe fragrances that I bought. I think all of them are perfect, really close dupes to the original. The only exception being Afnan's Rare Reef, which is supposed to be a clone of Pacific Chill, but I think it's not that similar to that fragrance, maybe a bit similar to Torino 21. This is the only one that I don't think I'll be keeping, but everything else has been a banger and definitely a fragrance that I recommend. I also really want to stress that I bought all these fragrances with my own money. These fragrances were not sent to me. I don't have to talk good about them. I am talking good about them because I genuinely enjoyed all of these fragrances, and I do think a lot of these fragrances are very, very similar to the original. So let me know if you guys have any questions on any of these fragrances, or if you guys want me to test the performance of these fragrances and report them back to you. Let me know in the comments, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.